Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular City Commission meeting for Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. Let us come to order. Please join me in silencing your cell phones. And Madam City Clerk, please call a roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Here.
Commissioner Ashley? Here. Vice Mayor Martin?
Here.
Mayor Cleveland?
Here.
And we just need to excuse absence for Commissioner Perrine.
Okay.
We need a motion.
Motion to approve the excused absence for Commissioner Perrine.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, call a roll.
Vice Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Police Department Chaplain Bill Kitchen will now deliver the invocation. Please rise and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Father God, we thank you that we can be here tonight. We thank you for the people up here on this diocese. We pray for them to have wisdom, discernment, insight, give them the downloads they need. And Father, I thank you for our first responders, our firefighters whom we honor tonight, our police, EMTs, paramedics, all of them, Father. Thank you for all of that. I pray this in Jesus' name, but some of us are not Christians, and we pray this in the name of whatever God we honor. Amen.
Amen. And now, PAC leaders, Matt Scott from PAC 3443 will present his two sons, Mylan Scott, who's 9 years old, a fourth grader at Reed Patillo, and he has been a Cub Scout since first grade. He's a Tiger now and on his way to being a Weeblo. Santa Claus, if you're listening, he's expecting a Santasaurus Lego set for Christmas. And also at age 6 is Easton Scott, who attends Reed Patillo in first grade. He is a lion working on his Tiger badge, and he loves reading about animals, insects, and taking care of his pet betta fish, Blue. Gentlemen, please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate that. Mr. Cowper, are there any changes to the agenda, sir?
Yes, sir, I do have a couple of changes. Bear with me. I was focused on the pledge there. I appreciate those young men. We do have a couple of changes on the consent agenda. Item 7E has been pulled, and item 7Q has been pulled.
Yes, sir. Perfect. Thank you very much. I'd like to welcome everybody tonight and know that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so we see your pink. Thank you very much for sporting that tonight. Also, yesterday was the 250th birthday of our United States Navy, so congratulations to all you Navy vets out there. We're going to, at this time, invite Volusia County Young Marines to join us at the podium. We're honored to recognize your commitment to promoting a drug-free lifestyle and your leadership in our community. As we celebrate Red Ribbon Week, we proudly present this proclamation to acknowledge your efforts and inspire continued awareness and prevention. If you'll join me and the commission, we'll be right there. The City of New Smyrna Beach proclamation recognizing Red Ribbon Week. Whereas communities across America face the challenges of illicit drug use and trafficking, and there is hope for combating this crisis through education, prevention, and the dedication of organizations like the Young Marines of the Marine Corps League, who foster healthy, drug-free lifestyle. And whereas government leaders and citizens recognize that community involvement is essential in reducing drug use, and the Red Ribbon has become a symbol of this collective effort in honoring Enrique Kiki Caminera, a DEA agent who gave his life in the fight against drugs, embodying the belief that one person can make a difference. And whereas the Red Ribbon Campaign, established by Congress in 1988, encourages drug-free living and greater participation in prevention efforts, with the week of October 23rd to October 31 designated as Red Ribbon Week to unite Americans in support of a healthy, drug-free environment. Now, therefore, I, Freddie Cleveland, Mayor of the City of New Smyrna Beach, do hereby proclaim October 23 through 31 as Red Ribbon Week in the City of New Smyrna Beach, and encourage all citizens to join me in this observance by participating in drug prevention activities, standing united against drug-free community, in witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of New Smyrna Beach to be affixed this 14th day of October 2025. Congratulations, guys.
It's okay, we're proud of you.
You got one here, pass it on over there. We have more. Okay. Today we are honored to present a proclamation declaring October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and the following individuals will be receiving this on behalf of the county and on behalf of our city. Odetta Harunter, Samantha Mignori, and Fonda Murnikai and Samantha Mignori. Please come forward and receive this proclamation. Also here is Amanda Weston and Sydney Reagan. Thank you all for coming for this proclamation. The City of New Smyrna Beach proclamation recognizing as October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Whereas domestic violence remains a devastating and pervasive issue affecting individuals and families from all walks of life, leaving an indelible mark on communities across the nation. The physical, emotional, and psychological toll of domestic violence can be profound, enduring, often leading victims to suffer in silence. And whereas it is imperative that we raise awareness of the far-reaching consequences of domestic violence, offer education to recognize its signs, and provide resources to empower individuals to break free of the cycle of abuse. And whereas we acknowledge the resilience and courage of survivors of domestic violence and stand in unwavering solidarity with them, pledging our collective efforts to reduce and ultimately eliminate domestic abuse. And whereas the work and commitment of volunteers, community partners, law enforcement agencies, and countless others whose combined efforts create a stronger, Safer New Smyrna. These are invaluable in the fight against domestic violence. And whereas the month of October has been formally designated as Domestic Violence Awareness Month to honor the courage of victims, to highlight the critical support services, and galvanize our community to address this serious issue. And whereas by coming together as compassionate, proactive community, we can help end the cycle of violence, restore the dignity to the victims, and offer them the support they need to rebuild their lives with strength and hope. Now, therefore, I, Freddie Cleveland, Mayor of the City of New Smyrna Beach, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month in the City of New Smyrna Beach, and urge all citizens to join in raising awareness, supporting victims, and working together to foster a safe and just environment for all. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of New Smyrna Beach to be affixed this 14th day of October, 2025. Thank you all for what you do. Thank you, folks. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. Thank you, Chief. It's my privilege to recognize Sean Vandermark for his remarkable 27 years of dedicated service to the Fire Department of the City of New Smyrna Beach. His commitment and courage have made a lasting impact on our community. I'd like to invite Sean to the podium now to accept this recognition and our heartfelt thanks. Welcome, Chief. Tonight we gather to celebrate a remarkable career and retirement of a man who has dedicated the better part of his life to safety and well-being of New Smyrna Beach, Fire Chief Sean Vandermark. From his early days as a volunteer firefighter in DeLand to his incredible 27 years of service in New Smyrna Beach as the fire chief, he has exemplified the very essence of courage, leadership, and selfless dedication. His career began with us on the 9th of March, 1998, at the young age of 25. From that day forward, he proved that age was no obstacle to the professionalism and determination that would define his career. Over the years, he rose through the ranks, becoming a driver engineer, a lieutenant, a battalion chief, and finally, on the 13th of December, 2017, he was promoted to fire chief. Each promotion was a testament to his hard work, his deep knowledge of the job, and his unwavering commitment to the department and to the people of New Smyrna Beach. Chief Vandermark's career has been defined not just by the positions he's held, but also by the impact that he has made. With over 200 specialized trainings and a degree earned with honors, he shaped not only the future of our fire department, but our lives and the countless individuals who have had the privilege of working with him. Through it all, his leadership has been characterized by integrity, compassion, and a deep sense of duty. Chief, you've been a mentor, a guide, a friend to so many, and your influence will echo through the halls of the fire department for years to come. Your legacy is woven into the fabric of New Smyrna Beach. It's the lives you've protected, the countless people you've served, and the firefighters you've trained and inspired to continue your mission. On behalf of the City of New Smyrna Beach, I want to offer you our deepest gratitude. Thank you for your unwavering service, your leadership, and your dedication to keeping us safe. As you step into this well-deserved retirement, we salute you. We wish you health, happiness, and a future filled with joy of knowing you've made a lasting difference on this community. Congratulations for everything you've done, sir. Sean, the mic's yours.
All right. So it has been an amazing experience here in New Smyrna Beach. The opportunity to serve the community, the opportunity and the support from the community, the support from all of the leadership here, including the 5 elected. They're here now, but many, many before them. It has been hugely instrumental in my success, the success of the department, and ultimately the success of the community that we now have before us, who is protected by these men and women who are out there every day doing what they do. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart for, somebody's cutting onions in here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for the last 27 years. I'm going to be around, so I'll see you on the streets. Thank you very much.
That was exciting. Meeting dismissed. Just kidding, just kidding. Mr. Manager, your report, sir.
We do have one
Oh,
presentation.
I see one more presentation. I'm so sorry. My error. We're pleased to invite and welcome Stephanie Ford, President and CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, and Ashton Musgrove, the Economic Summit Development Chair from the Southeast Volusia Chamber of Commerce, to the podium for a special presentation about the upcoming Development Summit. Please come forward. We're anxious to hear, we're anxious for the city to hear about the spectacular event that you guys are planning.
Thank you so much. We very much appreciate you having us this evening, and I believe there is a resolution that you're adopting as well for the meeting. We have invited all of the commissioners, the mayor from each of the 3 cities to attend. So therefore, the resolution will, I believe, uphold the sunshine laws. This is our 5th annual Regional Economic Development Summit. We appreciate your support and participation in the past several years. And as a reminder, for those of you who may not have been a part of the commission then, the group adopted a regional plan in 2023. So I've provided you with an executive summary of the 2024 summit. So you have that handout in front of you. We're not going to read that to you. But this year we are highlighting the success of the regional plan across the 3 cities and the county, and then looking to address and move forward what's next with the plan. So there are 3 main agenda items: stormwater, transportation, infrastructure, and of course, growth. So we've invited the county to participate. Tara McHugh and VCARD will also be there. So this is your chance as a region to come together, discuss what's already been talked about in the regional plan, and then what are projects that you may have going on in your own cities. How is there overlap? And then potentially, could you go after some regional funding together for some of those projects? So we really appreciate your leadership, and we've had a chance to meet with the city managers and the mayors prior to the summit to kind of get information about what the cities are working on and what they need. And that's how we came up with the 3 agenda items for next week. So it's October 23rd at the Brannan Center. It's free to attend. It's open to the public. Delicious breakfast will be provided at 8 a.m. and we will look to get started around 8:45. wrap sharply at noon. But your participation is key in this event and the continued success of the region. Anything else you want to add?
I would just say, I know when we met Mayor Cleveland, it was a lot of, in the past, you all felt kind of talked to versus having the time to talk with each other, and that is something that we took into consideration. So what you're really gonna see is maybe 10, 15 minutes of somebody presenting some hot topics, and then really an open roundtable conversation for you all to have a guided discussion. So we did take that into consideration to really give you all the opportunities to have the conversations that you've been needing to and wanting to have, and letting this be the platform for you to have them. So that was just something that we worked on as well.
Thank you. Thank you both. I know the work and effort you've put into it, and so we're very excited about being able to participate fully for the whole length of time rather than just show up and turn around and walk out. I know you really want us to thoughtfully prepare and to be ready to talk about how we, as the Southeast region, the 3 cities that compose your zone, if you will, to become the most effective. And this knows no barriers. So from Edgewater to Oak Hill to New Smyrna, if we work together, we will be much more powerful than if we work separately. And we're doing that under your umbrella. So thank you for leading the way. Appreciate it. Thanks, ladies. Now, Mr. Manager, how about your report, sir?
Yes, sir, just a few things I wanted to go over this evening. Friday, we will have another opportunity to celebrate Chief Vandermark and his service to the city and community, 1:30 to 4 o'clock at the Brannan Center. That's this Friday. Also wanted to take this opportunity to introduce everybody to our current Deputy Fire Chief, Dan Harshberger. Dan, raise your hand there. Dan has stepped up and accepted the role as interim fire chief, and he'll serve in that role until a permanent chief is selected, and that recruitment process is underway. We have a special election coming up on November 4th regarding some proposed charter amendments. I would encourage everybody to go to the city's website and look through the information that's available there about those amendments. We've also included information in the most recent utility bill that everybody's receiving. So please take the opportunity to read that. Announcing also that we received 3 grant awards from the Florida Inland Navigation District this grant cycle. So we're quite excited about that. A police boathouse, construction of some no wake signs, and a contract for design of the Phase 3 for the North Causeway waterfront site. So we are excited about all of those grant awards. We kicked off the Citizens Academy on October 2nd. I believe we registered 19 citizens for that program, so we're excited about that. We were 2 weeks in, and we'll go through the entire month of October learning about the city and some of the things that we're doing. And did also want to recognize some of our graduates from the 2025 Chamber Leadership Academy. We certainly appreciate our role with the Chamber and what they do for the community. They put on this Leadership Academy annually and teach people about the greater community. So we had several employees that graduated from this program. A few of them are here this evening. We had Michelle Fitzgerald from Parks and Rec, Michelle Raphael from HR, Grant Day from Legal, Olivia Thomas from Capital Projects and Grants, Stephanie Doster from Planning, and Ava Hanna, one of our PIOs. So congratulations to them. And again, we appreciate our partnership with the Chamber. And one final update, sir, regarding the Sapphire parking situation. That obviously has been a lingering project. We hit a few bumps along the road there. I do expect that construction will start on that sidewalk and parking project later this week. And that's all I have, sir.
All right, excellent. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Any questions or comments? Thank you. Okay, now it's time for public participation. If there are any citizens who wish to speak on matters pertinent to the city, you'll have an opportunity to come up to the podium. You'll get 3 minutes to have your monologue. Won't be a dialogue. We won't answer questions, but if need to get back with you will happen, the city manager and the city clerk will reach out to you and get your contact information and talk to you directly. When you come forward, you'll see a green light come on. It means you have 3 minutes. 1 minute to go, you'll see the yellow light. You need to be finished at the end of when the red light comes on after the end of 3 minutes. This is our business meeting, so please no jeering or cheering. We just want to hear what the people have to say. We're anxious to hear what you have to say. Please come forward and you'll be heard. Evening, Mr. Hall.
Good evening. My name is Phil Hall. I live on Catarina Drive in New Smyrna Beach. I'm here this evening to challenge our first responders, our brave men and women who all look out for us, but are still working on their pickleball game. On November 8th, the New Smyrna Beach Pickleball Club will play a pickleball match at Pettis Park for the First Responders Cup. Last year, our introductory year, it went home with the pickleball club. This year, I understand they've been working hard. In fact, a number of the departments have learned about the benefits of being on the pickleball court as an exercise and activity. The other fun thing about pickleball is it's competitive. We whooped them pretty bad last year, and I think they're coming back for more this year. And, Mr. Kevin,
You're pushing it, Phil. Your time's up.
And I'd like to congratulate those who took the Pickleball 101 class and are now considered pickleball players. I hope we'll see many of you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil, and thank you and Jim for what you guys do. Hi, Ashton.
Hi. Good afternoon, Ashton Musgrove, 725 West Canal Street, New Smyrna Beach, 32168. I wanted to speak tonight about our upcoming centennial. I had sent you all an email. It's going to be next Tuesday, October 21st, at the Grill at Riverview from 6 to 8. It is open to the public if you'd like to purchase tickets, but we also wanted to invite you all to come out and celebrate the Board of Realtors' 100-year anniversary. We were not sure exactly that it was our 100 years until a couple of months ago that our National Association informed us. So we're very excited about that, but we think it's going to be a great event. We're hoping for about 200 guests, and we have history popped up throughout the years, and so hopefully you all will be able to join us for that. I also wanted to hit on the charter review. We did ask for some information on that. I know you all said it's on the website. I loved the palm cards that went out. We have a luncheon coming up later this week along with a couple of other events where I'd love to pass those palm cards out if made available. I don't want to add extra cost or anything to the city or staff, even if there's a way that you could send us the way to print it to where we could get the same dimensions and things. I don't want to reinvent the wheel on resources, but we definitely want to share that out for you all as well. So anything else that we can do to help get that information out there, please let us know. And I look forward to seeing you at the Centennial, hopefully, and the Economic Development Summit on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashton. Appreciate your comments.
Hello, John Farland, 628 South Pine Street.
John, bring that microphone right to your mouth. There you go. Perfect.
628 South Pine Street, John Farland. Good evening, members of the commission. Tonight is the first reading of what the applicant describes as a simple text amendment for all R2 zones. The last 2.5 months have revealed considerable complexity and a need to understand the difference between visiting and living within the community. Simple implies easy to understand, like change church to house of worship. Complex implies many interconnected parts or something complicated, such as to fuse or meld existing and new building setbacks to create phrases with multiple interpretations designed to leave room for misapplication. The applicant owns 2 buildings and 2 properties. The first was built parallel to South Pine Street in 1958 with a 10-foot east setback. The second building, built in 1963, is a designated house of worship and is perpendicular to the first, creating an L shape. Both structures are located on 629 South Pine, within 10 feet of 645. However, due to the applicant owning both properties, a reasonable interpretation, despite complexity, suggests the house of worship actually conforms to current setbacks. The overall footprint and size represent a compromise to an R2 neighborhood. Granting additional exceptions allows another structure of up to 10,000 square feet, and that would dwarf the 750 to 2,000 square foot buildings abutting homes. This encroaches further on rules designed to protect all two R2 neighborhoods and is simply not extending a historical use. It is entrenching and maximizing a non-conforming pre-zoning exception compromise against a clear mandate of the R2 zones. While the ordinance wording is better than the original or slightly modified text amendment, the 10-foot setback is still too close, compared to 25 feet for medium or high density. It is illogical to be both low density and the shortest setback. The question remains whether a non-house of worship buildings can be expanded. Was that the intention? Consider needed to answer these questions for growth in other R2 zones, for churches in other R2 zones. What happens when copycat text amendments are proposed in other zones for churches and then businesses? Why even have residential zones with exceptions if we're not going to protect them? Who or what protects the residents against unfettered encroachment? Thank you for considerable time on this complex matter and listening to our concerns. It's baffling to consider how anyone believes they can resolve the pending parking and flood mitigation issues. The August 13, 2024 Commission meeting concerning the PUD on the South Atlantic is highly irrelevant, especially the discussions about the island's hydraulics and sponginess. This particular location continually struggles with flooding from rain combined with tidal pressures. It's a recurring problem that we had again this past week. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Appreciate it, John. Thank you. Sir.
Good morning, council members. My name is Samuel Leonard. I live at 627 Yupon Avenue. I came today to voice my strong opposition to the text amendment that John had just mentioned. Firstly, I hope to impress upon you that this text amendment very obviously serves only one purpose, which is to allow for the additional developments and or expansion of the applicant's current buildings at 629 South Pine, which as it currently exists, along with their organization inhabiting it, has massively outgrown their footprint here in our neighborhood. This fact is made evident by the overwhelming traffic they regularly generate, which consistently blocks their on-site fire hydrant and the sight lines around stop signs and their parking lot exits. This is after they have filled the city-owned lot, which they have questionable authority to use. This is a dire safety concern as it largely inhibits individuals from leaving in the event of a fire and regularly renders their building completely inaccessible by emergency services. This lack of organized parking also dramatically increases the chances of collisions and accidents. This is not a problem that would be remedied by 300 additional vehicles and a new total of over 800 parishioners. The applicant has not only failed to address these kinds of major safety issues, which would only become worse as they develop and expand, but they continue to purposely try and obscure not only their very obvious intentions with this text amendment, but also the details of their intentions and conceptual construction plans, which, when examined in even the slightest detail, exposes the fact that the properties and buildings which they currently own and operate on are physically incapable of safely and compliantly accommodating their proposed expansion. This obscurity, as well as these safety concerns and implications of expansion, must not be overlooked by the city. These incompatibilities, such as, but not limited to, the dichotomy of being compliant with impervious surface limits and being able to construct a parking lot large enough to properly accommodate such an increase in vehicles, all while retaining floodwater on their site, demonstrates the most important thing to consider when evaluating this text amendment. And that is the fact that the zoning laws in these areas zoned R2 are very specific. They are intended to preserve a safe, low-density nature with spaciously green and permeable lots, and they are intended to prevent the overburdening of the infrastructure therein. I am sure that every member of the applicant's organization would wish this for their own neighborhoods, and would hope not to be plagued by tall, looming structures only a few feet away from their homes. Council members, the applicant is hoping that you would not be as reasonably persuaded by fact as the Planning and Zoning Commission was. They hope that you might help them to set a precedent for the approval of unsafe and poorly justified amendments to our laws for the sake of allowing their hazardous construction and expansion. I hope that you will recognize our neighborhood's concern as not merely a disagreement of desires, but as a genuine concern for our safety and quality of life. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Appreciate that.
My name is Melissa Clibben. I live at 1203 Palmetto Street. When I lived in Fort Lauderdale in the 80s and early 90s, the mayor and commissioners decided to designate some land wetlands. The problem was that some of the land was privately owned. They weren't offering any compensation for the change of zoning. Part of our acre was designated wetland. I brought this to their attention during a public meeting. My question is, if you buy into a neighborhood because of the zoning and someone decides to change it to the detriment of your rights, where's the compensation? The neighbors surrounding the change of zoning will lose some quality of life and property value. If you pave more property because of a variance or a change of zoning, who's going to pay for the possible flooding? You can vote no now and try to fix it later. By the way, in Fort Lauderdale, the mayor and commissioners listened, and we won our rights back. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your comments.
Hi. My name is Angela Fitzgerald, and I live at 626 South Pine Street. I'll try and make this short and sweet. All over town, you see yellow square signs saying, "Slow the growth, Fallujah." So I presume you guys might be responsible for that. There are at least 4 or 5 on Pine Street. There is an existing building with a rather large footprint on the grounds of Beachside. Surely a creative architect or engineer could repurpose this structure to accommodate the need for extra space. Our street is just too small for an enormous extension on a site that floods every time there is a downpour. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciate those comments. Evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Paul Fitzgerald, and I live with my wife, Angela, who's just spoken so eloquently, at 626 South Pine Street. We've owned the house for 20 years. We've lived there for the last 12 years. During that time, we've observed with admiration the exponential growth of attendance at the services across the road. We have found the community to be good neighbours, and we appreciate the efforts they have made up to this point to mitigate the parking issues. As of now, possibly unlike some of our neighbours and friends, we have found the inevitable disruption at busy times to be tolerable. At the recent Planning and Zoning meeting, it was impressive to hear some of the members describing how important the community was in their lives. It was also impressive to learn of some of the good works the community did in the general area. So having radiated sweetness and light up to now, as you might expect, there's going to be a but. And here it is. While others tonight will address issues such as flooding, parking, aesthetics, the effect on property prices, etc., I want to implant one thought on another subject. And this relates to the exponential growth I've referred to. It is clear that the plan is to continue this, with the added possibility of a school. And the effect of that would be to tip the balance from a tolerable situation to an intolerable one. The community members come from all over the general area of some miles around Beachside. They see it as in their interests to continue the growth and the good work they do. On the other hand, those who will pay the price are the residents of the immediate area, specifically the residents of Pine Street, Yupon, 2nd Avenue, etc. Quite simply, the existing site and building are fit for current purpose, but would not be suitable for the planned exponential growth. And I would respectfully urge our representatives to vote against facilitating those plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. Appreciate your comments.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Kelly. I'm at 657 South Pine Street. And I'm also here to speak against the ordinance number 6525. We have no issue with the church. As he mentioned, we've been very impressed with, since the pandemic, how much they've grown their congregation, and there's definitely a positive vibe that you get from them. But unfortunately, to expand that area, there's going to be a loss of our residential character. There's going to be even more noise and congestion. I can't tell you on Sundays if it's before service, in between service, or after service. It's really hard to get out of my driveway. It's hard to walk the dogs. It's even kind of painful to watch people walking down the middle of the street going to church rather than using the one sidewalk we have. While I know that sidewalk is very small, they should be using a sidewalk. So I have safety concerns as well moving forward. There's insufficient parking. I think we've all mentioned that. They're using parking lots at the Garlic and the Norwoods, and they're bringing people on golf carts back and forth. That's not sustainable. Pedestrian safety, as I just mentioned, is very much a concern. Emergency access. If there was going to be a fire or we would need to get an ambulance down the street right now on Sundays, that would be very tough, to be completely honest. Flooding risks are a definite issue. I can't say that enough. That area holds a lot of water. Without that area being there, that water's got to go somewhere else, and guess where it's going to go? To the residents that live on Pine Street. It also is a strain on our utilities, and this sets, to me, a dangerous precedent for future development in other areas. It also is a lack of buffer space. If you take away that green space, it's not there anymore. It wasn't intended for that. And I really think you need to keep in mind, unless you live in an area where they're planning to do something like this, you don't know what's happening. So just going by on a Monday at 2 p.m., it looks like it's a nice quiet street and that wouldn't impact us, but it definitely will. So I hope you consider what the residents of Pine Street are saying. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your comments. And so as we pause before the next speaker, can you stand if you're here on this issue, please? If you're here on the issue, okay. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. And so we get the idea. We hear the safety, we hear the flooding, we hear the expansion, we hear the growth, we hear the disruption. So if you have anything different to offer, we're anxious to hear from you. But we have the picture. We have the idea. Go right ahead, sir.
Mine is pretty much the same, but I'll go ahead. My name is Glenn Gracom. I've lived on South Pine Street for 33 years. I'm against the proposed text amendment that would change the current 35-foot setback requirement to 10 feet. And that's only applicable when improvements are made or additional buildings are added to existing churches and schools, which is the case on South Pine Street. Keep in mind that this text amendment is just not about the church on South Pine Street. Passage would allow for all other existing churches and schools in New Smyrna R2 neighborhoods the potential of expanding to within 10 feet of their property lines. If the amendment is approved, Beachside Church, the amendment's originator, would be able to add a new sanctuary that would, at a minimum, double the number of parishioners that currently attend each service. It is already difficult for residents to safely back out of driveways on Sundays. Foot traffic from satellite parking located on the city-owned lot on South Pine Street, along 2nd Avenue, and at the Garlic Restaurant creates an added safety hazard. Many pedestrians walk on the narrow 2-lane streets leading to the church. A bicyclist was recently hit during peak parking times. An ambulance responded. Why should we double traffic when there already is a hazardous situation? Central Beachside residents currently experience daily evening safety issues resulting from haphazard parking along 2nd Avenue from Norwoods and Garlic patrons. Why should they also be affected by even more traffic that would result from a setback change? Attendance at Beachside Church can be increased under the current 35-foot setback requirement by adding an additional building on their existing property. If maximum capacity cannot be sufficiently increased with such a building, they should consider A satellite facility or a larger sanctuary in another location should be considered. Keep in mind that a large majority of the parishioners at Beachside Church are not Central Beachside residents. A change in location could potentially make it more convenient for parishioners to attend Sunday services. Please keep my neighborhood quiet, quaint, and free of additional traffic and associated traffic hazards by voting against this setback change.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
I'm Betsy Cavana, and I live at 507 Yupon. And I'm here to ask you to vote no against the proposed text amendment, which we're all talking about. Please consider the word respect. If the applicant had shown respect for their neighbors, then would we be in this situation? The neighbors simply want to emphasize the broader implications and intricacies of this proposal. When our neighborhood became aware of the proposed text amendment in August and raised parking and flooding concerns, the applicant dismissed these concerns as misinformation. Research done by the neighborhood found that a plan was provided to us by the city planning department. It wasn't using a hand-drawn conceptual plan. It was version 18 with dimensions, doors, and elevator, bathrooms, and occupancy options. At this time, the applicant was much further along with their plans, and the city staff was aware of this. The applicant's recent letter to parishioners accused neighbors of false narrative, and that's a quote. Perhaps ironically, the applicant should verify their information, which also stated in this letter that they were the only Protestant church on the island. Whether they've been the best neighbor, which was also in the letter, is a matter of perspective. This issue presents complex technical and emotional challenges. To dismiss neighbors' concern as misinformation or false narratives is morally bankrupt bullying tactic. During pre-application meetings, the applicant explicitly told city staff, and I quote this, "I don't think you're going to get community blowback on this, and we won't do it if we thought it was going to create a problem." So this is where we are. For years, the neighborhood demonstrated respect for their right to congregate, largely enduring the impact of the rapid growth, particularly concerning parking, traffic, and safety. They know parking is a significant problem, but by simply trying to focus on just the words of the text amendment and how unfair a 35-foot setback is for their growth plan, this distracts from the bigger picture. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, ma'am. Appreciate that.
Hello, I'm Jeanette Hastings, and I live at 622 South Pine Street. I'm going to scratch most of what I have here because I don't want to be redundant.
Grateful for that. Thank you.
I'm living in a house that's third generation living there, and so I've seen a lot of changes happening. But the reason that I came up here is to let you know about a situation that happened a few weeks ago. They frequently, I don't want to make generalizations, but on Sundays, often our driveway is used as a turnaround because their traffic flow isn't the best and they don't always have places to park. So on a recent Sunday, someone was turning around in our driveway, did not look, backed into a bike rider, and down he went. My neighbor witnessed it. I saw it right away, went outside, and the man is from the neighborhood and on Jessamine Street there, and he rides his bike frequently, or he did. I haven't seen him since this, but he was laying there, and he had to lay there for quite some time on the ground because there was all this traffic. It was a change of services, and the fire trucks came eventually and parked down the street. He wasn't transported, but he was treated there on the scene, and it just shows the safety concerns. And his helmet was damaged, and it would have been far worse if he wasn't wearing that. So I'm just here to respectfully ask you to vote no for all of the reasons my neighbors are bringing up and safety concerns.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your time and your comments. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Jessica Jarvis. I live at 1200 Palmetto Street, and I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. I also do not, I oppose this ordinance, mostly just to not set a precedence for other people who are living around schools and house of worship. Being in this dense area in the historic district, there's really no other place to build, and we need every bit of land to filter the water because we get a lot of standing water behind on the side of Reed Patillo. So for me as a neighbor there, I just wouldn't want to see this being set as a precedence, and these people who are living here, obviously that really affects them, and so I honor them, and I just want to say that I oppose it as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate that, ma'am.
Good evening, y'all. My name is Gina Furlan, and with my husband John, we live at 628 South Pine Street. John and I have a front row seat to the beautiful growth across the street from us. And from about 2020, when there were 50 people that went to services on Sundays, to well over 500 today, we are personally delighted to see so many people hearing God's word. To that end, it's been 75 to 80% growth per year. By year end 2026, there could be 800 people that are our members at Beachside. There's no question in our minds that the applicant needs more space, but the 35-foot setbacks do allot them the ability to build a 5,265 square foot building added to their current event space, which would dramatically increase their capacity. The city is at a crossroads, wanting to make it possible for the schools and for many of the houses of worship built before 35-foot setbacks were in place to be able to rebuild in a disaster. That's a noble goal. But is that already what is, and I'm going to use a dirty word, what SB 180 covers? Do they talk about all types of building and schools that would not be saddled with extra stipulations from the city to rebuild? And aren't those improvements that would happen after a disaster guided by the 50% rule anyway? I think we can all agree there's a big difference between rebuilding after a disaster and building beyond reason. To apply this text amendment to all R2 schools and houses of worship implies that all are the same. Clearly, the applicant's almost 2-acre property in the middle of homes on South Pine and Yupon are different from the corner lot on Magnolia, the little house of worship on Ball Street, or the large one on Peninsula. There's no one-size-fits-all amendment that could account for some of these entities being on arterial, connector, or local roads. But that's what this text amendment's intention is. Not only that, but specifically it benefits the applicant, who certainly ministers effectively to its members, but the external factors such as the parking, traffic, and safety of the area are woefully lacking, and is those external running of the business issues that what we're talking about. Parking is, of course, one of the biggest headaches of the organization. And in the interest of that, the city has allowed the applicant to use the FEMA flood lot next to my house for overflow parking. Parking on my property line has compacted the soil to where the water drains toward our property, as shown in the pictures that I have here for you.
Gina, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
I
much. I'm
appreciate
sorry
it.
your time has expired.
Can I give these to?
Yes, please do.
Hello, I'm Linda Woodard from 628 Yupon, and I am going in a totally different direction, mainly because after speaking to Mayor Cleveland and Commissioner Ashley, that I am more resolute in thinking that we need to postpone the vote on this text amendment. It is very complex, and we need time to actually look at all the issues, not just the issues on Yupon and Pine, but also the whole R2 area. And I'm going to make it very short because everyone talked about, traffic and everything else. But I think we need to actually do a TIA to see what the parking or the traffic is going to be like if there's going to be 800 people at some point in time, on our little streets. We need to look at the stormwater, the building size, physically, how it's going to fit into our neighborhood. And then looking at the intent of R2, because that's going to totally change it. And what's made it complex too, but in a good way, is that it brought the issue of the smaller churches to our attention. If they are destroyed and they're on a 50-foot lot, they cannot rebuild on 35 with the 35 setback. So I think what you can do as a commission is to rewrite this totally. Look at all the facts, help the small churches, but keep that 35-foot setback. Okay, and lastly, I've covered LDR amendments before, text amendments before, and the last one I covered was last year. It was landscaping and trees, and it was 604.04. It took 18 months of studies, discussion, rewrites for trees. You're talking about residents' lives and their futures, and you want to decide this in a month? Where's the equity? I don't think so. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Appreciate your remarks. Thank you.
Tough act to follow. I'm Diane Brown at 633 Yupon Avenue. Sorry to repeat some of what she said, but I must. I oppose this text amendment ordinance 6525 as it's currently written. I also think more time is needed to study all of the complex issues related to it. A measure that will affect thousands of residents and numerous schools and houses of worship in R2 zones across the city, I think warrants much more study than has been given so far. Therefore, I request the City Commission postpone the vote on this issue until thorough studies on the impact of this measure can be done. A thorough study of its potential impact and feasibility was not done in conjunction with the public hearing before the P&Z Board, nor did P&Z address the profound inconsistencies with the comprehensive plan and LDR. So the public has not been sufficiently informed or given the opportunity to weigh in on those important matters. I believe this text amendment would fundamentally change the intent of R2, thus overriding the key guiding principle of the city's plan and LDR. I also hope that before we jump to amending the law, the urgent issue of Pine Street flooding is addressed. I'm sorry, Mayor. It is established in the public record. The amendment is meant to clear way for construction of a huge non-residential structure in the midst of a historic neighborhood, making flooding relevant to this issue. I assume you've heard of the flooding event on Beachside last Friday caused by heavy rain and king tide. For 8 neighbors behind the church, it was a disaster as water from the church's stormwater retention flowed into their backyards. Of course, heavy rain and king tides are not something the church nor the city can control. But I think both entities have the obligation to study all available options and earnestly strive to choose solutions that are in the best interest of the people living in that neighborhood. It's disheartening to hear that elevating or tearing down houses are options to combat the flooding on Pine Street in Yupon, when we don't really know why the previous flood mitigation efforts have not worked. What we do know is the island needs more permeable land. For that reason, it does not seem that Pine Street is a good place to build a huge structure with requisite sidewalks and parking. Many people in my neighborhood have lived there for 30 years, some in the generational homes they have grown up in. And I think it's vile to effectively force them into selling their homes to solve an issue such as stormwater retention or to create parking lot. I thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Appreciate your comments.
Teresa Bowen, 310 Rush Street. I have a personal interest in Pine Street as well. And I just wanted, I'm not going to drag this out anymore. I just wanted to share the hard copies that I made because I don't know what else I'm going to do with them at this point, in case you didn't see the images that we sent by email. And I just want to reiterate the importance of this decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments, ma'am. Appreciate those pictures. Mr. Page, good evening.
Good evening, Joel Page, 827 East 12th Avenue, New Smyrna Beach, on the beach side. Yeah, I'm here to talk about several issues. Today, I got a call from my wife at her restaurant that somebody stole a bunch of our flags from in front of the restaurant, and she was very upset. It turns out they were stolen by the code enforcement, our feather flags. We had 2 of them there. The other restaurant in the same little shopping center also had 2 of them there. They were all brand new, they all look good, and they're out there because we're in a shopping center with very little visualization from State Road 44. State Road 44, as you know, everybody drives 50, maybe faster, miles per hour, and they just go right by our restaurant. So one of the cost-saving devices are those feather flags. So we put some out, and we attracted a lot of attention. Now, right across the street from there is another shop that has 2 flags out in front of them. Nobody's touched their flags. I don't even know if they ever got any notice from code enforcement. Now, I think code enforcement, because I complained about that Kmart eyesore that's been there for 15 years, close to 15 years. I complained about it to the police department, to the fire department, to the building department, to code enforcement, and they did nothing about it. Till I complained and complained and complained, and the only way to get rid of me is to keep calling the owner in New Jersey, because they left the back door wide open for months and months and months. It was a total safety issue. Who knows what was going to go on there? But you know, they get tired of being asked to do things that they're supposed to be taken care of. So, you know, our little story, or my wife's story, I should say, started on Canal Street in 2007. She opened her first business. She was a single, you know, she wasn't single. I was married to her, but that was our first business, owning a restaurant. And as we all know now, it's one of the best restaurants in New Smyrna Beach. It's been going for almost 20 years. It started on Canal Street when there was nothing on Canal Street. It was empty. Nothing was opened after 6 o'clock at night except us. So then we had to move because there was no parking anymore on Canal Street by the time we left after 10 years. Well, so give me one more minute here. I don't want to talk about churches and anything else, but so we had to move. So we bought a building on US 1 right near DQ over there, and we put over $100,000 into it to rehabilitate it because it was a real mess. So we did that, and that was great. And we got a lot of people coming in and blah, blah, blah. But it was an old building. I mean, everybody knows it as Stavros from the 60s.
Jill, just wrap up your comment, please.
Okay, so then we had to move again. So because you know, the parking lot was a mess, the roof of the building was a mess, so we had to put a lot of money into it. So we decided to move to a newer building, which is at the shopping center where we are now. We put a lot of money into that building too, and we're getting support from our landlords, but every time we try to do something out there to attract attention of the people running down 44, we get knocked down by this these code enforcement people. And by looking at this,
Appreciate that, Joel. Thank you. Your time, sorry, your time's expired. Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. Thank you. Sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Terry Bartley. I live off of 503 Yupon Avenue. I'm here like the rest of my neighbors. We really oppose the church that is being built. Not opposed of it being a church, but we just do not feel like it's a fit in our neighborhood. I mean, obviously everyone knows about the flooding, so no reason to talk about that. We know about traffic. You know, I'm usually at work, so I never get a chance to attend these meetings. But the last one you had, I had you on my phone watching it live, and I noticed a lot of people talking about, you know, they've been here for 4 years, 5 years, and the church has meant a lot to them and hate to see something happen to it. Well, as far as I know, I don't think anything is planned on happening to the church. They're more than welcome to visit the church. It's still going to, you know, complete their lives. But we just feel like that's just not the neighborhood to have it. There's other places to build a church if they want it a little bit bigger. You know, there's just no room in our neighborhood for a church or a parking lot or water. But I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for your comments, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. My name is Terry Westfall, and my sister and I own property at 625 Yupon Street. We have had that property since probably about 1963, so I am well aware of the neighborhood. I won't bore you with everything or be redundant with everything. You've already heard everything that I've got to say, but I just want to have my voice said that my sister and I, as owners of that property, feel the applicant's plans for the site are not appropriate for an R2 low-density single-family residentially zoned area, as this would upset the ambience of the neighborhood and run counter to the intent of the low-density R2 zoning ordinance. Therefore, we strongly urge the commission to turn down applicant's request for a zoning text amendment change. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments.
Good evening, Richard Brown, 633 Yupon Avenue. I'm going to try to end on a different note. I think you understand you've heard all those different things. I am against Ordinance 6525. Before I begin, I ask that all prior written and oral statements made by residents opposing this text amendment, including those presented to the Planning and Zoning Board, be incorporated by reference to the record for this hearing. I respectfully ask the council to decline this amendment. The proposal is procedurally incomplete, factually unsupported, and too broad in scope to be addressed through a citywide text change. It also comes to you with a no recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Board. This proposal comes to the council without the required written staff report evaluating its consistency with the comprehensive plan and the land development regulations. The city's land development regulations and Florida statutes both require that such professional analysis be completed before a recommendation reaches the council. Without it, the process has been incomplete and procedurally ineffective. The council is being asked to act without the professional findings the law requires. I can find no source anywhere in the code supporting the planning department's statement that other non-residential structures, this is a quote, owned or operated by the city, county, state, or federal governments allowed as a special exception would have only to meet a 7.5-foot side and rear setback. It doesn't exist in any of your zoning ordinances. That statement has no identifiable legal or regulatory basis, yet it was presented as fact when it was presented to the planning board. The property owner mailed notices only to neighbors of the single church property that was proposing the change. While that was courteous, it was misleading. This amendment would apply to every school, church, government building in every R2 district. To the best of my knowledge, none of those other neighborhoods are notified. A citywide text change should not advance without citywide public notice. This issue is too complex, too consequential to be handled through a text amendment. I ask you to decline it.
Thank you for your comments, sir. Appreciate that. Anyone else for public participation? Mr. Romeo.
Mr. Mayor, how are you?
Good evening, Jess.
Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is the last day of the Latin Heritage Month, by the way. I started on September 15th till tomorrow, September 15th. Last year, we had a proclamation honoring the Latins in our nation and our city here. This year, we did better. We had a party. And I want to thank one of the members of the commissioner for supporting us. It was a great event. We had a good time. Mr. Salazar and Ms. Fitzgerald from Legal Services, along with Jonah and Danielle from the Brandon Center, did a great job. This is a project of mine that started about a year and a half ago, going there, and we got it through. And guess what? We made money. It was not a loser. The city did it, and we made money out of that. So we can do it again, hopefully. I want to thank the Detweiler Bad Apple Pickleball Group, who sponsored the whole event, title sponsor. In regards to the church, I don't live on Yupon. I don't live on Pine. I live on Cooper, as most of you know. And in the mornings when I wake up, I get a cup of coffee, I go out in the backyard, and it's quiet. And I hear the birds, and it's beautiful, till about 8 o'clock. Then everybody starts waking up and doing stuff there, motorcycles, the cars there. Now, as we go, I drove by Pine the other day when it rained. So I wanted to see how the city was doing. Atlantic was horrible. I have a four-wheel drive, barely got through there. Pine was also flooded. The FEMA lot was flooded. The street was flooded. The parking lot was flooded. So the flooding is an issue on Pine. Now, if I understand it correctly, if you do any kind of new structures, you have to build out 2 feet above sea level. That's what I heard last time. I could be wrong. So if you were to build any new structures on there at 2 feet above sea level, where's the water gonna go? You already have problems on Pine with flooding. So it's a tough issue. You got a tough road ahead of you, but I want to thank Commissioner McGurk for supporting our room on the river on there, and the city did a great job with its staff. And hopefully next year, we'll see you guys there. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments. Anyone else for public participation? Seeing none, public participation is now closed. Thank you for your comments, folks. We're going to move on to the consent agenda. Is there any of my colleagues that wish to have a comment or a question about any of the items? Remind everybody that we've removed 7E and 7Q. Any comments? Any items you'd like to have pulled? I'd like to talk about item 7M. Let's pull that. Seeing none and understanding, we're going to remove E. We're going to pull M, and we're going to remove Q. The chair would entertain a motion to approve item Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta Foxtrot Golf Hotel India Juliet Kilo Lima November Oscar and Papa.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
So item 7M is the annual Christmas parade to be held on the 6th of December, the first Saturday of December every year. Mr. City Manager, is there a way for us to streamline this process and know that maybe any city-sponsored event that occurs routinely can be approved by acclamation? Or would you recommend every year we make a motion to approve the events we do every year on the same weekend?
Well, what I would recommend is that we have an administrative process to approve a lot of these, including the city events. So I expect by the end of this year to present you with ordinance with a new procedure for dealing with major and minor events that would include more administrative processes.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for the manager? Very good. Do I have a motion to approve item 7M, which is the approval of the City of New Smyrna Beach Christmas Parade for 2025 on Saturday, 6th of December?
So moved.
A motion?
Second.
And second. Madam City Clerk, please call a roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The consent agenda is approved. We have removed item 8A.
No, that one is staying on the agenda.
Oh, really?
No,
Madam
item
Attorney?
8A is on.
It is, okay.
Yes.
Very good. Item 8A is the nomination and approval of a vice mayor to serve commencing on 11th November 2025. Is that right, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
All right. I'd like to nominate Commissioner McGurk. Any other nominations? Madam City Clerk, would you call the roll on the nomination of Commissioner McGurk?
Commissioner, we need a first and a second, right? No?
I think on the nominations, anybody can nominate and they're up, so we have
Commissioner
one.
McGurk? You're going to vote in approval or nay? Nay.
Are you asking if I'm accepting?
So you were nominated, so now I'm calling the roll.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Ashley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
No. Motion carries. Thank you so much. Okay, I got missed signals. I thought the attorney had pulled that, and so I apologize for that. On to public hearings, and now we will hear item 10A, a public hearing which will be conducted for the adoption of ordinance 6125, which, if adopted, would amend the sign definitions and sign requirement improvements. Madam City Attorney, if you don't mind, please ordinance 6125 for the second time by title only, please.
Ordinance 6125, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the land development regulations, amending Article 6, Development, Design, and Improvement Standards, Section 60412 signs to revise regulations related to pole signs, amending Article 8, Supplementary Regulations, Section 801.30A10 for consistency with revised regulations, providing for codification, providing for public hearings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Director Corbin, we're anxious for this update.
Good evening. We're here to talk about ordinance number 6125, text amendments to sign regulations. You all should be fairly familiar with this. The last time I presented them to you, you turned me down unanimously. It's only the third time that's happened in my career. But to give you a little background on this, in 2011 there was a major sign update, and part of that update was embedded some language that created a 10-year sign amortization, basically for pole signs, saying in 10 years they all have to come down regardless of change of use or how the sign's been maintained or anything like that. It just said they all have to come down. That actually got extended to November 29th, 2025 of this year. We came in May and gave a presentation on that. We showed you this map, which is a little bit hard to read on the screen, but you can see the red dots. We've got about 150 of them scattered primarily on the US 1 corridor and the 3rd Avenue South Atlantic corridor beachside. So potentially these are all set to be in violation as of November 29th, 2025. When we gave you the workshop presentation, we got direction from you to remove that language from the code so the business owners would no longer be found in violation, and we would just lose these signs over time through attrition as businesses close or change hands on properties one by one by one. We would eliminate the signs that way. Since we were going to have this section of the code open. Talking internally, we made some other proposals about electronic signs as well as feather flags. We brought that version to you back in August, and that's the version that you all shot down. And so what you have in front of you now is a very, very clean version of the sign amendment, and it only addresses the pole sign amortization issue, does not address anything with electronic signs, feather flags, new definitions, or anything of that nature. And it's pretty simple. It's just the deletion of a few sentences and some clarity on a couple of words. It's really straightforward. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Shane. Appreciate that. Any comments or questions for the Development Services Director? No. All good. So you're right. We gave you the pushback on a variety of things, not the least of which was the electric signs. And when will you take up the issue of the feather signs, or will you?
At direction of the city manager.
We don't have any plans to do anything.
No plans to do that?
No,
Okay.
I mean, we presented it to you and you
Got it.
voted it down, so unless you want to give us some other direction, we're not planning to do anything.
Got it. Very good. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Any other follow-ups? Mr. McGirt.
I will, I don't need to give direction, but I will want to follow up on the electronic signs. I think that that's something that needs to be at least addressed or understood more. I think it was exclusive to a number of properties with the way it's currently written. So we can talk about that later. I don't necessarily want to bring it back right now. We're going into the holidays, and I don't, but I do want to address electronic signs sometime in the future, probably maybe the beginning of next year. Thank you, Mayor.
You bet. Commissioner Martin.
Oh, yeah. I would like to say I would like to address fields of feather flags. As we know, we can pass places where there's so many lined up, you can't even read them. So I don't know how we deal with them. I'm not suggesting that, but I think it's counterproductive as well as really junky looking. So thank you. I would love to see that one come back for modification. How's that?
Well, not to be argumentative, but we presented that ordinance to you and you voted it down. So we've moved on. Now, you heard somebody speak earlier today about the feather flags. The feather flags that he was bringing up were located in the right-of-way. Any sign, any object that is placed in the right-of-way is subject to being removed. It had nothing to do with the fact that it was a feather flag. It could have been any kind of sign.
Understand.
And it was removed, not stolen.
I would like to see feather signs be rediscussed. Thank you.
Commissioner Ashley.
When people get signs removed, can they get them back? I mean, that's not an issue, right?
Yes, they can retrieve them.
Yeah, if I remember right, we had a dumpster years ago, and now it's moved. It's a new place where they're all collected up, so you can get your sign back. On the signs, last time that you were here, I asked if you had talked to Director Bergeron or the chamber or any of the businesses about the signs. Have you done that?
We have not. We basically just brought back this clean version, so we haven't done any outreach to talk about developing those additional.
Let me correct that. I've personally been in communication with the Chamber of Commerce, specifically about this amendment for the pole signs. The Chamber, the Board of Realtors, others, and they were very supportive of this amendment.
Okay. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. I think that's a part of our due diligence, is to involve the public and get their consent. Certainly, if the signs are mostly about businesses, we ought to talk to the businesses before we act. Thank you for that, sir. Okay, very good. Thank you very much for that presentation, Shane. Don't go anywhere. Public hearing is now open. If there are any citizens who wish to approach and speak on this topic, please come forward and you'll be heard. Seeing none, public participation is now closed. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 6125?
So moved.
So motion.
Second.
And a second. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now on to ordinance 6325. It's item 10B, which, if adopted, would add the definition and conditional use of used automotive wholesale to the I-3 Industrial Park Zoning District. Madam City Attorney, ordinance 6325 for the second time by title only, please.
Ordinance number 6325, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the land development regulations, amending Article 2, definitions, Section 201, general definitions, to add a definition for used automotive wholesale, amending Article 5, zoning districts, Section 50402, specific regulations by district, I-3, industrial park district, to add used automotive wholesale as a conditional use, providing for codification, providing for public hearings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Senior Planner Mathan, we're anxious for your report, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the applicant has provided some background of their business. Their company, which is Higginbotham Management Company, is trying to acquire a Florida dealer's license for their new LLC, which is Higginbotham Autos. And in order to get that Florida dealer's license, they're required to wholesale used cars out of their building. They've asked a need for the zoning in the industrial park to expand permission to do so. This would be primary an indoor wholesale operation. It would not be open to the public. The building itself is already equipped with this type of operation, and they will be willing to comply with whatever else the city would require. They don't intend to have this run like a used car lot and actually prefer it to be a very low-key operation. So the applicant has provided a floor plan for their location, which includes some office space, a conference room, and storage areas for the cars to be stored. The applicant also provided some site photos of their building. This slide provides photos of all four sides of their existing building. This slide here shows the interior space with the office and also the vehicle storage area. So this request to amend the land development regulations will not just allow for wholesale vehicles at their location, which is 1521 Airway Circle, but it would also allow on other properties that are located within the I-3 zoning district outside of the city airport. This map here is the actual only part of the city that has the I-3 zoning, which includes the airport. Their amendment is to exclude the actual city airport itself. So in our LDR, it refers to as the airport industrial park. It's also defined certain areas depicted on the airport property map, is identified as portions of parcel C1 and B1. That portion of C1 is shown on certain subdivision plat, is described as the Airport Industrial Park 2, which was approved by the Planning and Zoning Board back in 1983. The eastern 800 feet of parcel B1 that's land north of Terminal Bay Road consists of approximately 30 acres or less. So the proposed amendment would add as a conditional use automotive wholesale used with the following conditions. One, there'd be no boats, no trailers, and no recreational vehicles. Two, only cars, trucks 1 ton and under, and motorcycles. The maximum number of inventory would be 50. 50% of that inventory must be stored inside, and outside would be stored inside of an enclosed fence. It'd be 6 foot in height. Also, a site plan would be submitted based on Article 11 of the city's land development regulation to the planning department for review. Number 7, they'd have to meet all the landscaping, stormwater retention, utility, and parking that would be required under the land development regulations. And number 8, only located within the airport industrial park and not the municipal airport. So Mr. Higginbotham has been in the automotive business for many years, including here in New Smyrna Beach. When the applicant sells a dealership, sometimes a new purchaser may not want some of the used inventory, and Mr. Higginbotham must wholesale those vehicles out to other dealers. He needs a place to store these vehicles while finding a buyer, and he does own this parcel near the airport that does have the I-3 industrial park zoning. He's used this building in the past to store his personal vehicles. He also needed some office space for some employees who were relocated after a recent property sale here in New Smyrna. And since he owns the building locally here, he would like to use that building to house his employees that were relocated and to be able to keep the inventory that he needs to wholesale out to other dealers. So back at the regular scheduled meeting on September the 8th, 2025, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 5-0 to give a positive recommendation to the City Commission to approve a definition of automotive wholesale used and the conditional use of automotive wholesale used only in the I-3 Industrial Park District, limited to the Airport Industrial Park only and not including the municipal airport property. And based on that positive recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Board, the Planning Department also recommends the City Commission to approve that definition of automotive wholesale used and the conditional use of automotive wholesale used only in that industrial park zoning, limited to the industrial air park only and not including the municipal airport. And so that's a summary of the staff report, subject to any questions that the commissioners may have. I'm not sure if the applicant's here tonight.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. Any questions for Mr. Mathan? I do remember last time we had an issue on you had a question on the outside parking. You're all good with that?
Yeah, that, no issues.
Very good. Thank you so much. We're going to open a public hearing now. If there are any citizens who wish to speak on this topic, please come forward and you'll be heard. Seeing none, public participation is now closed. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 6325?
So moved.
So a motion and a second. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Ashley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
6325 has been adopted. We're going to move on to item 6425. Public hearing will be conducted to consider the adoption of 6425, an ordinance which, if adopted, would create a section 801.33, a proposed regulation for outdoor dog dining based on Florida Statute 509.233. Madam City Attorney, for the second time, 6425, please.
Ordinance number 6425, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the land development regulations, amending Article 8 supplementary regulations to add section 801.33 outdoor dog dining, providing for codification, providing for public hearings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Mathan.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So the applicants requested that the City of New Smyrna Beach adopt an ordinance that would allow the city to provide a process to allow restaurants to have dogs in an outdoor seating area. And under Florida Statute 509.233, the state of Florida will allow for a local government to create an exemption to certain provisions of the Food and Drug Administration Code. This exemption procedure would allow patron dogs with certain designated outdoor portions of a public food establishment. So under Statute 509.233, paragraph B, requires a minimum information for an exemption application. The following minimum information would be the name, the location, and the mailing address of the public food establishment. 2, the name, mailing address, and contact information for the permit applicant. 3, a diagram and description of the outdoor area to be designated as available to dogs, including dimensions of the designated area, depiction of the number and placement of tables, chairs, and restaurant equipment, if any. Also the entryways and the exits to the designated outdoor area, the boundaries of the designated area, and any other areas of outdoor dining not available for patron dogs. Any fences or any barriers surrounding the property lines and public right-of-ways, including sidewalks, common pathways, and such other information reasonably required by the permitting authority. The diagram or plan shall be accurate and to scale, but shall not be prepared by a licensed design professional. Number 4, a description of the days of the week and hours of operation that dogs would be permitted in the designated outdoor area. Also, Florida Statute 509.233, paragraph C, to protect human health, safety, and the general welfare of the public, including would be the minimum requirements. Number one, all public food establishment employees shall wash their hands promptly after touching, petting, or otherwise handling dogs. Employees shall be prohibited from touching, petting, or otherwise handling dogs while serving food or beverages and handling tableware or before entering any parts of the public food establishment. Number two, patrons in a designated outdoor area shall be advised that they should wash their hands before eating. Waterless sanitizer shall be provided to all tables in the designated outdoor area. Number three, employees and patrons shall be instructed that they shall not allow dogs to come into contact with serving dishes, utensils, tableware, linens, paper products, or any other items involved in food service operations. Number four, patrons shall keep their dogs on a leash at all times, shall keep their dogs under reasonable control. Number five, the dogs shall not be allowed on chairs, tables, or other furnishings. Number six, all tables and chairs shall be cleaned and sanitized with an approved product between seating of patrons. Spoiled food and drinks shall be removed from the floor or ground between seating of patrons. Number seven, accidents involving dog waste shall be cleaned immediately and the air sanitized with an approved product. A kit with the appropriate materials for this purpose shall be kept near the designated outdoor area. Number eight, a sign or signs reminding employees of the rules shall be posted in the premises in a manner that is place determined by the local permitting authority. Number nine, a sign or signs reminding patrons of the applicable rules shall be posted on premises within a manner and placed as determined by the local permitting authority. Number 10, a sign or sign shall be posted in a manner and place determined by the local permitting authority that places the public on notice that the designated outdoor area is available for the use of patrons and patrons' dogs. And finally, number 10, dogs shall not be permitted to travel through indoor or non-designated outdoor portions of the public food establishment, and egress and ingress of the designated outdoor portions of the food public service establishment must not require entrance into or passage through any indoor area of the food establishment. So with that, some of the other jurisdictions locally have already passed their own regulation. One is Volusia County and the city of DeLand. And at its regular scheduled meeting back on September 8th, 2025, the Planning and Zoning Board voted 5-0 to give the City Commission a positive recommendation to approve the requested regulation to allow outdoor dog dining. And based on that positive recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Board, the Planning Department also recommends the City Commission to approve the requested regulation to allow outdoor dog dining. And that's a summary of the staff report. Subject to any questions commissioners may have.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Any questions or comments for, yes, Commissioner Ashley?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Who decides how big the area is?
The applicant will have to show us the area that they want to use. It could be pretty large. There's no limitation on how large the area.
So whatever it
could be.
is, who approves it?
They would have to make application to the planning department. We'd have to oversee what their plan is to make sure that they meet all these state requirements.
But is there an area designation that?
There's not a maximum or minimum area that was in the state statute.
So you're going to take it on a case-by-case basis?
Yes.
Okay. Are you a dog person?
I am a dog person, but I don't take my dog to restaurants. So.
Anybody else? Maybe the attorney will help us on this. We have restaurants right now that have dogs allowed. This is a requirement to cover us for a regulation at the state level. Is that what's going on? Okay, very good. One more follow-up. Will there be doggy bags provided, Bob?
Well, they are going to have to clean up any spoils by the dogs, so hopefully the businesses will figure out it's easier to use doggy bags.
Very good. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Gives new term to the word doggy bag, doesn't it?
It does indeed. Public hearing is now open. Are there any citizens who have an opinion on this and like to voice it? We'd like to hear it. Seeing none, public participation is now closed. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 6425?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes.
Thank you.
Let's go into the dogs. All right. And now we're moving on to first readings, and these will simply be the readings of these ordinances. So ordinance 11A, which is our item number 11A, ordinance number 6525, conduct a first reading and for an ordinance which, if adopted at the second reading and public hearing, would amend section 504.02 R2 single-family residential with a special exception use of schools or a house of worship. Madam City Attorney, for the first time by title only, please. 6525.
Ordinance number 6525, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the land development regulations, amending Article 5 zoning districts, Section 50402, specific regulations by district, to revise dimensional standards for the special exception uses of schools and houses of worship in R2 single-family residential zoning districts, providing for codification, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025. And just for the record, from the language has tweaked from between Planning and Zoning Board to City Commission. Same intent, same applicability, but clearer. It reads, schools and or a house of worship, provided all structures are located at least 35 feet from all side or rear property lines. For existing schools and existing houses of worships, additions and improvements may be installed or constructed no closer than the setbacks existing on the property, but in no event may be closer than 10 feet to the side and rear property lines. All additions, improvements, and off-street parking areas abutting residential property shall be screened by a 7-foot landscape buffer or a 6-foot tall solid perimeter fence, meeting the requirements of this LDR.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. And now we're going to go on to ordinances that involve annexation. So if you don't mind, read item ordinance number 6625, 6725, and 6825 by title only, please.
Ordinance number 6625, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach annexing .45 plus or minus acres of property located on the south side of Jungle Road between Otter Boulevard and State Road 44, addressed as 125 Jungle Road, providing for redefining boundaries of the city, designating the property within Commission Zone 3, providing for public hearing, providing for required filings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025. Ordinance number 6725, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the comprehensive plan, changing the future land use designation of .45 plus or minus acres of property located on the south side of Jungle Road between Otter Boulevard and State Road 44, addressed as 125 Jungle Road, from Volusia County urban medium intensity to city medium density residential, providing for amendment of the associated comprehensive plan maps to show the area incorporated into the city, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025. Ordinance number 6825, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach rezoning .45 plus or minus acres of property generally located on the south side of Jungle Road between Otter Boulevard and State Road 44, addressed as 125 Jungle Road, from Volusia County R4A urban single-family residential airport overlay to city R2A single-family residential airport overlay zoning district, provided for conflicting ordinances, provided for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025.
Thank you, ma'am. And now on to the following set of ordinances, which are also an annexation. This is ordinance 6925, 7025, and 7125. For the first time, please, by title only.
Ordinance number 6925, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach annexing 12.9 plus or minus acres of property generally located on the west side of Ingham Road, south of Mission Drive, addressed as 824 Ingham Road, providing for redefining boundaries of the city, designating the property within Commission Zone 1, providing for public hearing, providing for required filings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025. Ordinance number 7025, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the comprehensive plan, changing the future land use designation at 12.9 plus or minus acres of property generally located on the west side of Ingham Road, south of Mission Drive, addressed as 824 Ingham Road, from Volusia County urban low intensity to city low density residential, providing for amendment of the associated comprehensive plan maps to show the area incorporated into the city, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025. Ordinance number 7125, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach rezoning 12.9 plus or minus acres of property generally located on the west side of Ingham Road, south of Mission Drive, addressed as 824 Ingham Road, from Volusia County Mixed Use Planned Unit Development, MPUD-A Airport Overlay, to City R2A Single Family Residential Airport Overlay Zoning District, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28th, 2025.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. The final set of 3 ordinances for an annexation. If you would please read 7225, 7325, and 7425 by title only, please.
Ordinance number 7225, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach annexing 2.7 plus or minus acres of property generally located on the north side of Luella Street, east of Alberta Street, addressed as 736 Luella Street, providing for redefining boundaries of the city, designating the property within Commission Zone 3, providing for public hearing, providing for required filings, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025. Ordinance number 7325, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach amending the comprehensive plan, changing the future land use designation of 2.7 plus or minus acres of property generally located on the north side of Luella Street, east of Alberta Street, addressed as 736 Luella Street, from Volusia County Rural to City Rural, providing for amendment of the associated comprehensive plan maps to show the area incorporated into the city, providing for public hearing, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025. Ordinance number 7425, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach rezoning 2.7 plus or minus acres of property generally located on the north side of Luella Street, east of Alberta Street, addressed as 736 Luella Street, from Volusia County A3A Transitional Agriculture Airport Overlay to City A3A Transitional Agriculture Airport Overlay Zoning District, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate getting those 3 sets out of the way and on their way for the next hearing. Now on to item 11K, which is ordinance 7525, to conduct a first reading of an ordinance which, if adopted upon the second reading and public hearing, would grant a non-exclusive franchise agreement to CFB Outdoors. Madam City Attorney, read 7525, please, for the first time by title only, please.
Ordinance number 7525, an ordinance of the City of New Smyrna Beach granting a non-exclusive franchise to CFB Outdoors, Inc. to provide construction and demolition debris removal services within the City of New Smyrna Beach, outlining franchisees' duties, providing terms and conditions under which such franchise shall operate, providing for severability, providing for conflicting ordinances, and providing an effective date. Second reading and public hearing will be October 28, 2025.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. We'll move on to section 12, which is boards and commissions. Madam City Clerk, we're anxious for your report.
Yes, before you today, we are going to do the Building Trades Appointments Board. The clerk's office has advertised for several months for appointments for this board, and we have presented all the applications to the City Commission. So tonight, we are seeking 2 members who are seeking reappointment. Mr. John Werner, who has served 1 term, and he would like to be reappointed to the board, and member Joseph Blanchett. We have spoken to him, and he also would like to be reappointed to the board. I must say that within the term appointments of this board, that it is no members can serve more than 2 consecutive terms unless it's waived by a majority vote of the commission. And Mr. Blanchett has served 4 terms, and if you choose to reappoint him, this will be his 5th term.
Okay, so we've got 2 that want to reapply, and you've got 3 other applicants, and how many total positions?
Correct. So we have 2 that want to reapply.
Yep.
We have 2 regular member vacancies, and we have 2 alternate member vacancies.
Got it. So you could use every one of these if
Correct,
they apply?
if the commission decides.
Got it. What is the commission's will on the, and I think the clerk's intent is for us to discuss robustly our general policy on reappointment and how many terms you want people to serve, because right now it's a variety, it's not structured. So anxious for your thoughts on that. Yes, ma'am.
Well, there are boards that meet very infrequently and are difficult to get appointments. And I think that the rules for like building trades should be different than the rules for P&Z. And it's not clear to me that we should have term limits on building trades because it is so difficult to get people on building trades. So unless somebody wants to come in and we actually don't have a vacancy, then we really don't have much to discuss.
Commissioner McGurk.
So, I think the board should have the term limits, but we have the ability to override specifically for what's happening right now, which is we just, certain boards just do not have the interest as other boards. You know, planning and zoning, we have a list a mile long. Building trades has always struggled. So I don't have a problem with the current structure. Someone serving for the 5th time, I think the question would be whether or not we reappoint them, or if we can reappoint them with a contingency for not necessarily a full term, maybe an interim term, see if someone else can come on. I mean, 5th time is excessive, but on the other hand, as Lisa, you said, these boards meet very infrequently and have different. So what I'm saying is I don't really see the system being broken right now because they have term limits and we can override them. And in this case would be a good example of overriding a term limit.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Ashley.
I agree with Jason. I just think that we should leave it the way it is and override as necessary.
So this is good for us to discuss this. And Commissioner McGurk, having been here the longest amount of times, had to deal with this more than we have. It happens to be a passion of Commissioner Perrine to get boards something rectified about the paucity of people that are joining, how the boards are working, and this is a good discussion to have with her present. I don't submit that we do anything different for tonight, but I know that this is one of her big initiatives, so I think we ought to have that come back, Madam Clerk, again to have another discussion. I don't care for the expiration of a member, and then it goes on for several months, and the member calls and says, am I done? Am I still a voting member? Do I still get to vote even though my term is expired? And so that's a bunch of questions in their minds. And then there are several boards that remain empty through the year. Perhaps if maybe at the beginning of the year, you would just list the whole list of expirations and when they expire, and we'll publicize that widely so that people can be ready and we can do some recruiting for you and try and find people to populate the board. Not yet a fan of term limits because of size of our city. The population of those that are qualified to do certain things is small already. The term limit it can be done by us. We can make that exception, or we can make a rule that says, put in concrete rather than by tradition, that we extend or override or whatever. So, and with the remark that, hey, some of these boards meet a lot and some don't meet so much, maybe that's a factor as well. So I think we can have a robust discussion, and I think I'd like to make sure that Commissioner Perrine gets a chance to have that. For tonight, you would like to know whether we want to reappoint these 2 members, one in the end of his 2nd term, the second the end of his 5th term, 6th term.
It'll be his 6th, he's in 4, so this will be his 5th.
This would be his 5th. And then you have positions, you have 2 other spots and 2 other alternates.
Correct.
We have a total of 3 new applications here.
Correct.
So we could fill your direct spots and 1 of your alternate spots. Correct. If we were to move to invite the entire slate. And
Yeah.
that seems very reasonable to me.
So yeah, I'd like to go ahead and move forward with making appointments that are appropriate for today and not having the board wait. You know, this board in particular, the Builders Trade Board, is the one that I brought up. I had consensus from the commission. I didn't push it, it just fell through the cracks, but this is the board that I think that it has to meet a legal responsibility. But I think that we could add additional responsibilities to this board, which would attract a lot of new people to it. And that would be, my idea has always been some sort of liaison, having contractors on it between the building and planning department for them to do some bouncing off and communicating some of the issues that we have always heard from the local contractors about how things are working. If the planning or building department is going to change software or do something, communicate with this board. That allows this board to go ahead and communicate to their friends and people in their industry. So I think that there's an opportunity with this board to expand some of the responsibilities that would also make it make people very more interested in participating in this board. So we can maybe have staff take a look at that again, and I can talk with them a little bit about ideas, and so can you all, and we can have some sort of informal discussion on that and see if it leads to anything that the staff would want to bring back in the future.
I remember that conversation well, Mr. Manager. It may have been while you're here, but it may have been before you had arrived on the scene. So is the wrangler of this group somebody in the planning organization? Who's the staff member that gets handles this group? Is it somebody in planning?
Steve
Stephanie?
Woodworth, our chief building official.
I apologize.
No worries. I'm just trying to think, to put the action in what McGurk's asking for, it probably needs to have whoever that staff member is who sits with this board.
The building official.
And somebody, okay, so it's the building official.
Yes.
So you hear the ask to have it be more vital, more engaged, and I think he's even brought up LDRs that need touch up or would get impact or input from the community of builders, and they would want to have at least have something looked at. This is an opportunity to have a board that has knowledge to look at it. That's the general idea, I think. With all that said, what is your will? Do you want to nominate this whole slate? Or do
I'd
you
at
want
least like to nominate everyone, maybe not the person who's going to be looking at the 5th term, but either way, I'm okay with it, but we can always hold off to see if there's someone who wants to, because if we nominate these many new people and they have what is this, is this a 3-year term?
Yes.
We won't have any changes for...
Well, we'll still have one more opening. So we have 2 openings, 2 regular member and 2 alternates. So we're appointing 3 people, but we have 4 open vacancies.
Okay. Got it. Understood.
Okay.
So we have, okay, so let me narrow the scope. Is there a nomination to reappoint either Mr. Blanchard or Mr. Warner, or both?
I would nominate them both.
Thank you. We have a nomination to vote for both Mr. Blanchard and Mr. Warner. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll on
Just
that.
need a second. We have a nomination. We need a second?
No, ma'am. As we
No
discussed
nomination.
previously,
Okay.
for a nomination, we won't need a second.
Commissioner McGurk?
Yes.
Commissioner Ashley?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martin?
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland?
Yes. Okay. Now, we've got 2 more regular slots and 2 more alternates, and you have 3 people. So with these 3 people, I would assume you'll fill the regular spots first, and then one of these
Correct.
people
Whoever you
would be the
choose for the
alternate.
2 regular and then another one for the alternate.
So I'll nominate Nick Schultz for a regular spot.
Any other nominations for a
I'll
regular
second
spot?
that, yeah.
Any other nominations? We don't need a second. Any other nominations for a regular spot? We've got 2 other people.
Yeah, I'll put...
So we have Mary Fikert and Randolph McCown are the other two applicants that were presented to you.
I don't know either one of them, but I'm certainly willing to put one on.
Randy is a contractor, or has been a contractor, I know that. I've read his application.
Well, let me,
Can we nominate them for alternative?
You can nominate two alternatives and leave two regular spots open. That doesn't seem,
I see,
that doesn't
okay.
seem to help
No,
much.
no.
So do we have we have a nomination, I think Nick Schultz has got a nomination for a regular spot. Is there another nomination for a regular spot?
I could nominate Randy.
So we have a nomination for the two regular spots. Let's try that and see if we can get that through. I have a nomination for a regular spot on the seat for Mr. Schultz and Mr. McCown.
Okay.
Please
Ready?
call the roll on that.
Yes. Commissioner McGurk.
yes.
Commissioner Ashley.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland.
Yes. Now there's one spot, there's one person available for the alternate. Would there be a nomination for Mary Fikert for the alternate?
I nominate Mary.
Very good. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Ashley.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martin.
Yes.
Commissioner McGurk.
Yes.
Mayor Cleveland.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there more that you want to discuss on the board?
Yes, I do need to bring clarification for the Planning and Zoning Board. The question last meeting was, are the two members that were presented available for reappointment? In researching, I found that the Planning and Zoning served 3-year staggered terms, but I was unable to find the term lengths of 2 years anywhere within the research and consulting with the city attorney as well. So yes, they can serve 3-year staggered terms without compensation, and 2-year terms is what we previously done, but I have not found it written in a resolution.
So by custom and tradition, we've not had a 2-year term limitation.
So
Is that right?
we have adhered to the 2-year term
we have,
limitation,
out of
but
custom.
it's not written anywhere.
All right, Commissioner McGurk's been here. Tell us about that.
So when I was put on the Planning and Zoning Board, it was my understanding, first of all, it was a 4-year term. I think we changed that. We changed that over the last few years to a 3-year term. But it was always a 2-year maximum. So that's why I had a discussion with Sharon about that. And I was like, are you sure you can't find it? Because it was well known that it was two 4-year terms on the Planning and Zoning Board. And which of course gave you 8 years, and 2 6-year terms. I'm comfortable with 2 3-year terms and keeping that consistent.
Got it. So we don't have to vote on any of that tonight, but it's
if
going to be
that's
a
your-
discussion. I think we'll have the full group here again to discuss that again. And so we've got the tradition of pass of 2 and out, right? And good insight. And you've got we can't find in the clerk's office or in the attorney's office any record of a document that says that's what the limit is.
So if that's for commission's decision, the 2 applicants have both served 2 terms.
Right, so not making a decision tonight. And when do they expire? Or are they already expired?
They're already
See,
expired.
that's the whole thing. Just makes me crazy that we're 11th hour, we're deciding what we're going to do about a vacancy that's already here. So I know you've just inherited this, and you've got a lot to get squared away. And so let us make haste and get this fixed as your time allows.
Yes, so this will be presented to commission for appointment at the next meeting, for the 2 positions on planning and zoning.
And so if we've got a tradition now of 2 and out, we've got no applicants, right?
We have a lot of
We
applicants.
have tons of
Yes,
applicants,
yes.
and we've got a tradition of 2 and out. Okay.
I just wanted to say, it seems to me we have one more meeting before their terms expired, because here it says they're expiring November 1st.
Let me look.
I mean, I'm just reading, from the roster. So,
So yes, this one expires the 1st of November.
got that too.
So perfect. We are so they are serving within their appointment time.
so we do, if we choose to sort of clarify things prior to the appointment, we have the option of doing that at the next meeting, is that correct?
What do you mean?
Well, we could clarify that it's 2-3-year terms maximum for any new, I would say for any new members on the P&Z, as well as, appointing these two, or if there are other applications that come in. But as you said, there's a lot of applications.
There are a lot of applications, yes.
Yeah.
So right now, they're serving 3-year staggered terms, and we've been adhering to the 2-term.
Yeah, I'm just saying that we could have the option of clarifying it.
Sure, this
or,
commission decision.
what do you call it? Documenting it.
A procedure, yeah. Yeah, sure. So I think that's accurate. I think when we all get here next time, we can vote on these two, and we can consider whether we want to continue our tradition or write something. What is that, Carrie, an ordinance that has to be written, or how do you do it?
We can put it in the LDRs in Article 3, where we talk about all the different boards. It could also be in the planning bylaws, so either way.
Okay. All right. It'd be good to have a robust discussion about that. And maybe one of you could engage Commissioner Perrine and let her know how we did this, and that since it is her pet rock, she might want to weigh in on that. Okay. Thank you so much. Anything else from the clerk?
Nothing else.
Okay, very good. Very good. All right, commission comments from your work. Vice Mayor.
Okay. Well, it's been, as always, an interesting couple. I was so happy that I was able to be just for the opening of Citizens Academy. I had another event I had to run off to, but it was so nice to see the Citizens Academy start up again. It was really lovely seeing the Southeast Volusia Chamber leadership graduation at ACA, and I'm proud that we had 6 of our very own NSB staff that are now graduates. There were also wonderful performances at both the Atlantic Center and the Hub. And last note is I would like the commission to consider discussion on first reading, as so many other cities do.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything more? Commissioner Ashley.
I would just like to say that I attended a 2-day workshop over the weekend, the Institute for Elected Municipal Officials, and it was the first course of a 3-course program, and it was extremely valuable. And I am now going to dig into my notes, so that's exciting to me. I want to congratulate Ava, Michelle, and Olivia for the leadership course that they finished. That was fantastic. And I also think that regarding Ordinance 11A, I think we really need some more discussion on that. I think that is a very, very a broad, wide in scope, and the problem with the church is a good example, but I think we should address that neighborhood and neighborhoods like that, because as we grow, we will have more participation in what was designated as very local churches or schools. So I think we need to really talk about that some more. I would certainly like more discussion on it. So.
Sure. Mr. Manager, I think you have a deck and a presentation teed up for our next time together. Is that right?
Yeah, we will do a presentation on the amendment, talk through that, answer any questions that you have about it. I'm certainly willing to provide whatever input you would like as a city manager or planner, however you want. But yes, I think we need some robust conversation on that.
Is that planned for second reading?
Yes.
Okay.
One more thing. At the workshop, we had many, many experienced scholarly people teaching us. And I live in an HOA, and I would ask questions about an HOA. And there seems to be a gap, a knowledge gap, legal gap of something, where my question basically was, who is responsible for keeping the leadership of the HOA responsible? And they pointed me to a state agency but the state agency was not the right agency. And there, in fact, I couldn't find an agency from the state that deals with HOAs. And it dawned on me, should we have an HOA board, like somebody or a group of people? We have boards for a lot of stuff. Should we create something that kind of babysit? That's the wrong word, but I don't know what word to use. Somebody that keeps an eye on HOA management to make sure they're doing the right thing.
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
One is, first of all, I can remember years ago when it was just, studies showed that 80% of HOAs were being, what do you call it, compromised. They were being, oh, come on, financially they were having, mismanaged. But is an HOA a private business? And that's what my question is, because if it's a private business, we may be limited in how we can control it. So that's my question. Is it a private business?
So they incorporate these HOAs. You'll look at it and it'll say Tuscany Village, LLC, or whatever. My hesitation would be inserting ourselves into a civil matter. But, you know, I know we could probably have a lengthier discussion. I know there's a chapter within Florida statutes related to HOAs specifically. So I don't know if they just misnamed the board or what that gap was between who they said and...
I'll get back to you.
Okay, yeah, just show me this stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right, very good. Just picking up on that, I think there are management companies that manage HOAs, and they're hired to do that. They're allegedly professionals, and some of them are excellent, and some of them, as Mr. Martin points out, not so much. So, so rather than go at it from the litigious standpoint, maybe there's another avenue to go. As a best practice, we could scour the southeast and find what the best practice is. And somebody's got to have something. And I agree. When we started down the path of for flooding and canals and what part, who owned what, some of the HOAs, you know, Cowper and Rashadat had to say, hey, hello, you own this, and they went, oh, I do, you know, rather than, oh, yeah, I got to get on it, or we ran out of money, or any of that.
Right.
So there's a move that is needed there, especially in our situation where that major function needs to be done over and over and all the time. So there's some work to do, I think, there.
I would think that, you know, if we have specific requirements as it pertains to the maintenance of stormwater facilities, things like that, that impact the general public, then we certainly have a role in making sure that they follow up and are responsible for maintaining those facilities, which I understand we do. We have an employee that looks at these detention ponds and is supposed to make sure that they're properly maintained. I would be very reluctant to go beyond that with private HOAs, to tell them what they should and shouldn't be spending their money on, how they should spend it, what kind of reserves they should have, all of that. That's really, I mean, as you said, that's a private operation, not something that we oversee. But in some situations, there are certainly, you know, where we say, here's a stormwater pond, that's a great example, and you have to maintain it, then we have a legitimate public interest in making sure that they do that. So I think we've got to have a pretty narrow scope of what we could do there.
Sure, and there's likely a best practice out there somewhere in another municipality, and we can, you know, we can find that. Yeah. Good. Speaking of flooding, and Mr. Manager, your work on that lately to get the state out there on Highway 44 is certainly appreciated. It's been a rough month for New Smyrna in terms of accumulation of rain. You see it in the paper, you see it in the news. Edgewater got hit harder, or their infrastructure is less robust than ours, but let there be no mistake, we had some significant flooding at a non-hurricane event here this past week, and your team, led by David Ray and the folks, have done a great job of getting pumps out there. Chief got Flagler Avenue squared away where we got the road closed off, and people that were looky-loos making wakes down there were averted so that they couldn't continue to do that. And we got days of it. So we got much more than our regular rainfall for the month of September, and so far even for the month of October. So it brings it front and center that absent that cooperation and communication and a master stormwater plan, which is coming, we will continue to just slide around, and that's not enjoyable. That quality of life degrades very quickly. So we absolutely have to continue to participate with the county and with our other cities in putting together this master plan. But thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Again, for Sean Vandermark, the chief, who ends his 27 years, what an amazing man, what an amazing legacy, what a great department that he has led and put his imprimatur on. We will never forget what he has done. If you're available, this event on Friday is open to the public, so please come down to the Brannon Center Friday, noontime, I think, and help us honor a great guy as he goes on to his next chapter in his life. On the 11th of October, on the 11th of November at the 11th hour, we will have a citywide celebration of Veterans Day at the Brannon Center. And Director Salazar has got an amazing event planned. So if you're of a mind at 11 o'clock on the 11th, it's a Tuesday of November, please come down to the Brannon Center and be a part of a great celebration for commemorating and celebrating the work our veterans have done. Madam City Attorney, any report from you, ma'am?
No, but I think the city clerk does have
There's
something
more
on
from the
there.
clerk? Okay.
Just for the 2026 meetings, that they will begin January at 5:30 p.m. That was the clerk's report for this
Okay.
year. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Nothing more, ma'am?
No.
Okay, very good. Mr. Manager.
Nothing from me, sir.
Fantastic. Oh, by the way, is Commissioner McGurk.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to bring up the flooding issue, which you touched on, Mayor. So what was interesting about this latest rain event was there was a lot of flooding. I got calls from people, and A1A was impassable at some point down towards Chase's. Flagler Avenue did that. But what I got was a number of calls with people reaching out to me, and I saw this all over social media where people identified this as simply it rained. But the fact is that we in Edgewater, parts of New Smyrna and Edgewater, got 6 to 7 inches of rain in a matter of about 3 or 4 hours. Now, to put that in context, that is a really big deal. The last time that happened was in 2013 in Islesboro, got 7 inches of rain, 6, 7 inches of rain in about 4 hours. And there were numerous streets with 3 feet of water, numerous homes flooded. So there's 2 points I want to make here. Number one is it was not just a typical rainfall. We had a low pressure system, which was a classic nor'eastern that moved up the coast and up into the northeast. So it was not a typical afternoon or rainy day. We had a highly unusual amount of rain. Now here's the other issue. All over social media, people are talking about this quote, it just rained and look at all the flooding, and they attribute it to a lot of other things. The problem with that is in the past, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people would be like, wow, what happened? And they would at least look for and get factual information from people. What they're getting now is simply opinions on social media, reinforcing falsehoods. It was not just a normal rain. And we need to identify the fact that there was 6 to 7 inches of rain, which has been now documented. which Edgewater got, and parts of New Smyrna. And if you look at where we flooded on Beachside and to the south, when you cross over the river, you end up in Edgewater. So it was a very consistent pattern of about 6 to 7 inches of rain. People get their information from random people on social media and Facebook pages stating things that just are not true. And people take that as fact. We need to find a better way. And when I say we need to, we've been trying to, it's any kind of information that we try to get out. Everyone who's gotten elected the last 15 years comes in and says, I'm going to figure out a way, we're going to be more transparent. And transparent turns into how do you reach the people? What can we do to get them factual information? So I'm going to challenge us to figure out ways where we can stand on the corner with a bullhorn, at least stating what facts are. Because everybody, it's a disservice to everybody in the city, the electeds, and the people of this community when they just look at social media, listening to people who have no idea what they're talking about and feed off each other. And once we can get facts out about 6 or 7 inches of rain, we can discuss that many areas, because it's an old community, do not have stormwater designs. I spoke to someone recently who just assumed that Beachside and the entire city have an elaborate, organized plan, stormwater design, like, let's say, a new community like Venetian Bay. So there's still raw, factual information we need to get out to people. And we just need to find a way, because we just keep getting beaten up with random posts on social media that are absolutely false. And it's perpetuated. And then people believe the wrong thing. So wanted to just share that opinion that I have, the idea that we got to work harder at trying to stand on the street corner with a bullhorn to get the facts out. Because it was a 6 to 7 inch rain event in about 3 hours. And we're going to always have flooding. And it's not a just typical rainstorm. Thank you, Mayor.
Very good. Thank you for that. And I don't know if you didn't say it on purpose or not, but nationally, the national news covered that this was king tide season, and that with zero rain makes us flood, and so those all combined. And so I don't know, Mr. Manager, whether it's a doubling of effort or something innovative from your 2 PIOs, where they become the burning bush every time we have an event like that, and they can get ahead of it or whatever. And we kind of train everybody to, hey, always look to our organization. We'll have somebody that'll be the spokesman. It's Phil or Ava or whoever that will always get the word out. Similar to what the county guys do. They do a pretty good job of getting their message out. But I'm with McGurk. The vacuum that we have allows the narrative to be be willy-nilly, whatever. So be great to get that cooking. Okay. Thank you. With a record at 8 minutes to 9, we are adjourned. Thank you, Ms. Harris.